So this is much easier said than done, but this is about being really open-minded as to what A/B testing and optimization can do and what things you can test.
Hi, and welcome to the Marketing Optimization Podcast with Alex Design. I'm your host, Alex Harris, and today we're chatting with Paul Rouke. How you doing, Paul?
Hi, yeah, great, thanks. Thanks, Alex. Yeah.
To get started, what would be your definition of optimization, and why is it beneficial?
Optimization is when a business invests in understanding their products and services, but most importantly, how they can best serve their customers and prospects, and then using these insights to test and improve their online experiences to increase profits, revenue, and ultimately outgrow their competition.
Excellent. And you're the founder and director of optimization at prwd.co.uk. And on your website, I see there you have a trademarked growth methodology. Can you give us a little bit of background on that?
Yeah, so our growth methodology underpins everything that we do for our clients when it comes to optimizing their digital experiences. So it's the methodology that we've developed over about 4 years now, and it's underpinned by consumer understanding, user research, really understanding the kind of motivations and the behavior of their visitors, whether it's prospects or customers, existing customers, and using all these insights to then deliver for our clients a full spectrum testing, which is talking about ranging from simple iterative testing all the way through to bolder strategic changes with optimization. And coupled with that, it's all our years of experience as well that myself and the wider team have that we're bringing into our optimization programs, having worked in this industry for over 10 years now.
Yeah, there's many companies, small, mid, large-sized companies come to me, and it seems over the last few years, it's become a lot more than just testing. It's about optimizing your revenue, optimizing your lifetime value. What are some of the key things that may be holding businesses back from really putting together their own optimization plan and then using that to actually grow?
Yeah, no, it's a really good question, and it's one that actually has led me and the business to produce our first book, which we're launching in January. And the book is titled "The Growth Strategy That Is Being Ignored," because what we're finding continuously is, although there are some businesses out there that are really embracing optimization to grow their business, there's still a huge proportion of businesses and business leaders out there that are failing to really gain a strategic understanding of what optimization can do for their business. So often optimization is just seen as very kind of tactical and just something that's kind of can be done but isn't going to have an impact on the strategy and the growth of a business, where brands such as booking.com and Shop Direct and AO.com, some of the big brands over in the UK, they've really embraced the importance of A, being customer centric, and B, having a really intelligent and a significant optimization strategy for their business. So I think, so often optimization is still seen as just kind of tweaking websites and tweaking elements of it when it can offer so much more. It can help a business to evolve and improve their value proposition, to kind of maybe change the direction of their business potentially. So there's still like little understanding of it in the majority of leaders within business.
Yeah, there's many agencies or standalone companies. They have all these different departments. They have the traffic acquisition department, and then the customer acquisition department, and then the retention department, and they all work in their own little silos. Have you seen this? And how do companies kind of bring it together to really put together a growth optimization team in place?
Yeah, so I think first of all, absolutely, I've seen this like areas of the business just working in silos. So I think first of all, what needs to happen is that from the very top of the business, the C-suite, the chief executive, there needs to be true strategic understanding of optimization. Because if from the very top of the business there isn't that understanding and appreciation, then ultimately the people that are trying to bring teams together, they'll fail to get the buy-in, they'll fail to get the budgets, and they'll fail to get the resources to kind of build that kind of growth team. So that's the first thing that needs to happen. So there needs to be continual education and enlightenment for the senior decision makers within business. If I just refer back to the book that we're launching and publishing on Amazon in January, the growth strategy that's been ignored, is interesting. What we've done is we've gone out and we've spoke with 16 others of the world's leading authorities on conversion optimization. So everyone from Chris Goward to Andre Morris to Ollie Gardner to Brian Eisenberg to Pep Lyer. And we've asked them all the same question: what do you feel is the thing that's holding businesses back from growing their business through optimization? And actually, Chris Goward, what he referred to was about companies working in silo, and that being such a big barrier for them. The book is there very much to really try and answer these questions and to provide kind of tips and advice as to what businesses can do about it.
Yeah, very big influencers in the conversion space. And if you want to go back and listen to the old shows, each of them have actually been on the show before. So you can hear you can hear all about their great insights on the previous episodes of the Marketing Optimization podcast. Now, once a team kind of puts together a plan in place, they maybe come up with a good hypothesis, and they've been testing for a while. Now they're kind of ready to maybe implement a new redesign, or maybe they had a good holiday season and they got some traction, they saw some ideas, and now they're ready to put in place a new design that they think they can be able to test. But the problem is a lot of times is that they don't have a really good plan. How do they figure out how to not kill their conversion and really avoid a failed redesigned project?
So I think, first of all, there's many companies still embark on a full redesign without actually already implementing an optimization strategy. So I think, first of all, it's embracing the whole idea and the strategy of running continuous tests and continually learning about your customers. So that's the first thing to get in place before then moving on to a redesign. But then what often happens is companies that are embarking on a redesign, they really fail to understand on their existing site what are the real strengths of the website. So maybe they're thinking of moving to something new, something shiny, new features, new functionality, but they overlook the things that are working really well on their existing website. So what we recommend and what we work with our clients on is, before moving into a full redesign process, to actually use A/B testing and user research first of all, and then A/B testing to again, it's about that full spectrum of testing. So we help our clients redesign their websites, but through testing, rather than changing from one experience to a completely different experience when you flick that big switch overnight and you move to your new website design. So I think it's kind of really using optimization as a way to effectively redesign experiences. But I've referenced about customer research and user research there. That is such a crucial element of a business understanding their customers and their prospects, and to feed into an optimization program and a redesign. But it's still so often one of the most easiest things to take out of a program. So to save a bit of budget, we won't do the user research. So I think companies really need to be wary of not taking out of an overall plan and of optimization, user research and understanding customers, which then feeds into optimization.
Yeah, when you start with that user research, that qualitative insight, you really build a foundation for potentially all the problems that your site's going to see in the future. So the more time that you spend on that initial insight and research, you're probably going to have more test ideas that you even have time to complete. And I think as you iterate and you fail or win through your testing, you learn so much and you build up a track record, and you know more about the site than the customer ends up knowing about.
Yeah.
So it's like you build this historical base of how your site really should work for your ideal customers and how it doesn't work. It's like this weird thing that you kind of build up over time through the experience of working on the same site over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just to highlight, we often get brought in by a business who've spent maybe 12, 18 months redesigning the website and not really doing it through optimization and through real solid user research. They launch the website, performance goes down, and we get brought in then to conduct user research on their on their new website. So where they failed to invest in that consumer understanding during the redesign process. So I think just to say as well, what's really valuable when companies are doing user research and when we do it, we and this is a tip for anyone that's conducting research. It's to user research to also have a look at your competitors at the same time. So the participants taking place do the same scenarios on maybe two other websites that are competing, because it allows them a frame of reference. It allows them to identify and pick out the strengths and the weaknesses across three sites, where if you're just doing research on your one website, it can be a bit harder for users to think of maybe a better way of doing things or a more preferable way for them. So that's just a tip to bring in that kind of competitor analysis as part of your user research as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely makes sense. And is there a point in the process that a business should basically stop doing that tweaking and really start, growing the actual business instead of just, tweaking landing pages or headlines or value propositions, and really just overall just start growing the business? Are there really any practical tips for young businesses especially?
Well, the thing about for young businesses is a real positive, is that typically they're more agile than the bigger, more kind of traditional businesses out there. So agility is really important, and the whole thing around embracing change for businesses is highly important as well. So first of all, younger businesses typically have I suppose. They have a lead on their like the bigger, more established businesses because they're more agile. But this kind of brings me on to what we talk about as a full spectrum of optimization. So how many businesses focus on just simple iterative tweak testing, and so they're maybe getting a few uplifts, but not really impacting their overall business. When you then start to think about kind of full page redesigns, or you think about reducing a flow or redesigning an experience or a part of a journey within your website, that's when you can really start to kind of shift behavior a lot more significantly. So so I think it's really important for businesses to not only embrace continuous optimization as something that's here to stay, but really seeing optimization as like giving them the options to do significant changes on their website, to not just tweak but grow their business. And I kind of feel very passionate about this. I've just recently been speaking at Conversion Conference in the UK and talking about the acronym Conversion Rate Optimization, CRO, and is CRO the right acronym? And does CRO indicate that this should be a continuous process rather than just a kind of tactical thing that's on and off? Or is it always about the conversion rate? Are we always optimizing conversion rate? Not necessarily. It could be average order value. It could be the profitability of your business. So we've actually started to use and talk about CBG, continuous business growth. And so for optimization to be seen much more about continually helping to grow businesses. But I think it's probably still quite a long time off before businesses really embrace that type of thinking. But there are businesses out there, as I mentioned earlier, who are already doing that. What I would say as well, going back to the user research, is to ensure that user research isn't just conducted maybe once a year. It should be very much a very regular thing to gain new feedback into your experiences. So I can't underestimate enough the importance of that, even though it's one of the most underappreciated elements and foundational elements of optimization.
Yeah, no, it's true, because every time we make a change, you're literally changing the user experience from maybe the month before or the year before. So you have a new website, even though the whole entire thing isn't redesigned. So maybe it's time to go ahead and do some user testing again, continuously watching your mouse tracking and things like that. Any particular tools or tips to maybe track that, along the way at each step of the growth phase?
I think one tool that we've been using that's very cost effective and that's got some great different options and features is Hotjar. So I'm sure a lot of your listeners have heard of that, and some are already using it. But I'd recommend that because of the different techniques that are available and the different features in there. That can be really valuable indeed. But then another often undervalued and underused technique with improve understanding customer behavior and helping to develop hypotheses for optimization is for businesses to speak to their customer service staff who are speaking to their customers on the front line to understand what are the issues that people are facing, what are the questions, why are people ringing up customer services. So that is an often underutilized technique to feed into the hypotheses for optimization for businesses. So yeah, that would be if you're not already got good communication with anyone that is customer facing, then start to bridge that gap, because there can be some real hidden gems of insights in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And even if you don't have a call center, maybe you just have a live chat on your website. Those insights and those FAQs that people are asking over and over again. If you're not answering those questions on your site today, make sure you have a nice, robust FAQ section, about section. If you have an e-commerce service, returns and shipping and things like that.
Yeah. I think just something else to say as well in terms of a short survey or a little bit of feedback. One thing another tip for listeners is to, on your kind of order confirmation page or the page that people have got to after they've submitted or they've purchased, is to basically ask them the question: what is the one thing that nearly made you not convert or not purchase today? So even though they have converted, which is fine, so that'll look great, you've got them as a conversion as a new customer. What is the one thing that sticks in their mind that nearly held them back from clicking that submit or that confirm button at the end of your process? And so that can give really valuable insights from customers as to why they nearly didn't become customers.
When you're putting together that, was it the growth business optimization plan, what are the main factors that let's take for example an e-commerce site. What are the main factors that they take into account to see the business grow?
So do you mean what are the techniques that are used?
Or the KPIs, the metrics? Obviously it's bottom line revenue, profit, but maybe more granular than that, things that people can look out for when actually trying to really grow their business online.
Yeah, so one area, and this is interesting. This one of my colleagues in the business here worked previously at Shop Direct, which are the UK's biggest mail order and online retailer. And alongside the metrics around kind of revenue and conversion rates, average order value, they also measured the Net Promoter Score and the satisfaction level of visitors moving through their website experience. So that is a bit of a softer metric, but of course that gives a good indication as to whether your customers will become advocates of the business and kind of refer you on to other people. So that can be a really valuable metric to bring into some of the harder number metrics that you refer to there.
And any tips to improve your Net Promoter Score? I mean, I haven't heard many people really talk about that. I assume it's continuously better customer service, making sure you don't get bad reviews and things like that. Any insight into actually improving that score?
I think one thing I would say, and this is from a personal experience in the last month. So I've purchased. Well, I booked through Airbnb. So I booked some accommodation on there, and I've also booked with. Let me just think of who the other one is. It's actually online shopping, like online grocery shopping with Asda or Walmart over in the US. So both businesses we ended up having a kind of poor experience, a poor end experience with that. So I was very much ready to leave negative reviews and kind of probably like negative word of mouth. Interestingly, what Airbnb did once we submitted the kind of refund request and our kind of issues is that they came back pretty much straight away to really ensure that rather than us becoming a kind of detractor for their business, we became an advocate for their business. So they offered us refunds. They really apologized for what had happened, explained that it doesn't normally happen. And so the way they handle that experience, so when someone has had a bad experience, they turned it around so that actually we've now booked again with them for another holiday, and we're expecting a good experience again, which we've had before. Where with the grocery shopping, their inability to come back to us and to provide responses and to provide helpfulness to turn us that are currently frustrated into a kind of an advocate of their brand, it's been two completely different experiences. And maybe what I would say there is that Airbnb is an example of a more of an agile, more of an innovative business, a new business model over the last 5 or 6 years. Asda and Walmart, obviously a bigger, more established brand, and maybe they haven't really understood the importance of ensuring that when customers do have a negative experience, they turn that around, they try and turn that around and try and make that person a brand advocate.
Yeah, that's an excellent story. I mean, it's clear. Majority of people, they're only going to have that mindset usually when they have a negative experience. So those things are going to go wrong. So why not put the systems in place so when you do have that potential criticism of your company, use it to your advantage and show your good customer service, and then make an advocate of the poor experience. It's absolutely a great story. So let's talk about the book. How can people find out more about potentially getting it in January? How they can find out more about you?
Yeah, so first of all, so the book is titled "The Growth Strategy That Has Been Ignored." It'll be getting sold on Amazon starting in January. So there'll be a Kindle version and a print version as well, like a physical version as well. So yeah, it'll be kind of ready, available, and like I say, it features myself and 16 other global thought leaders on optimization. It's the epitome of the book of kind of quality then quantity. So it's not a big long read. It's not like hundreds of pages long, but it's extremely succinct and very straight to the point about what businesses shouldn't be doing. And then there's obviously a lot of insights and tips around what they should be doing to really grow through optimization. So so that's going to be available in January. But if I just come back to the kind of quality then quantity area, and because this is really important actually for optimization, and when we're talking to businesses about what is going to grow their business, there's a lot of businesses who, when they move into optimization and testing, they start to think about the volume of testing that they want to do per month and per year, and that's very much a kind of a quantity metric. So 50 tests this year or 100 tests this year. Obviously, you get some brands looking to do 100 tests a month at that extreme end. But what often happens is there's a lack of the kind of quality foundations in place, first of all, for these businesses. So rather than really developing strong hypotheses and having a high test success rate, businesses are very quickly moving into the kind of volume-based approach for testing. And that can be really dangerous, because ultimately testing takes time, it takes resources to do it properly. So the more testing that you're doing, the more resources that you need. And if you've got a low test success rate, then chances are that you're going to struggle to build the kind of momentum and buy-in for optimization, because you're just not delivering the results that the businesses may be expecting to. So it's a really important thing that we talk about with companies, is to get the quality foundations in place first, and then start to think about the kind of increasing the volume of testing after you've got a real good quality of the like your baseline for your hypotheses. So that's just bringing in the quality then quantity area. In terms of for people finding out more about myself, there is quite a lot online for myself. So just kind of Googling my name would bring up my personal kind of landing page and PRWD, which is the optimization agency that I run. My Twitter, Paul Rouke, so my profile there is there's quite a lot of things going on. I link out to a lot of different articles, and also I've been contributing to e-consultancy on their blog, and I've also been a trainer for e-consultancy in the UK for about 7 years. So if people search for Paul Rouke e-consultancy, you should get access to the 30 plus articles that I've written on there, which do website evaluations and critiques. Talk about the kind of growth drivers for business in optimization. So there's a kind of wealth of information that I've put out and shared online already. And then my LinkedIn profile as well. There's a lot of different things on there, and links out to all my slide shares as well from when I've spoken at different conferences.
Excellent. And yeah, make sure you go and check out the website prwd.co.uk to find out everything that Paul's doing, and to connect with his book coming out in January. Definitely going to pick that up myself for sure. to close out, what would be the one thing that you would tell the listener that they can do? What would be the next step to take their business to that next level, to improve their conversion rates, to implement that growth methodology in their own business today?
I think what I would say is to really embrace full spectrum testing. So this is much easier said than done, but this is about being really open-minded as to what A/B testing and optimization can do and what things you can test, and being very bold about it as well. But to get to that full spectrum, so to get to the end of like innovative testing, strategic testing, you should build up your consumer insights, your kind of continuous user research, and then running iterative smaller tests to then feed into the kind of bigger, bolder ideas, which will allow you to come up with the hypotheses to test much broader strategic changes for your business. So that's how I would give kind of tips on how to build up to that kind of innovative and strategic testing. So yeah, embrace full spectrum testing.
Excellent. Thanks for your time, Paul.
Great. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Alex. Cheers.
Cheers.
For weekly new episodes and an archive of over 100 digital marketing experts, make sure you go visit the website marketingoptimization.tv. And remember, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Later.